Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm your teacher Mr. Zach, and today we are going to learn our English plus 1 starter unit lesson 5. Okay, so before we begin learning our today's lesson, we are going to recap the last video's lesson. Okay, so the first thing that we have done last video is we have learned about singular, one person, like teacher, student, and Harry. And then we also learned about plural, many people, teachers, students. And then we learn about when we want to talk about something that belong to one person, we use the apostrophe s, the teacher, and then followed by the apostrophe and then s, like this one. This one is only for one person. Whenever we say it can be a name, Harry's book, it can be teacher's book, it can be student's book. But you cannot use pronoun. If you use pronoun, for example my book, then you cannot then you cannot say my book, his book. No, this one, if you are using the subject is something like teacher, student, or a name, okay, a noun. Then the second one, we also have learned about when the book belong to many people. For example, it belong to teachers, so you put the s and then apostrophe. You don't have to add any more s, you just add the apostrophe. What is apostrophe? This is apostrophe. This one is what we call apostrophe. So s, you just add the apostrophe after the s, then you don't have to put another s. So you don't put like teachers apostrophe and then s some more. Okay, so that's what we have learned last week. And then we also learned about subject pronoun, he, she, it, they, we, you, I. And then we learn about the verb affirmative, when you confirm something. He is, she is, it is, they are, we are, you are, I am. And then we also learn how to say the negative form, like he isn't, he is not, she isn't, she is not, it isn't, it is not, they aren't, they are not, we aren't, we are not, you aren't, you are not, I am not. Okay, so we have learned all of this in the previous week. And then we did some work. No, this is another example. Am I in the wrong channel? Answering question using the pronoun and verb to be. Am is the verb to be for I. So this one is asking for opinion. Am I in the wrong channel? Yes, you are, if the people is in the wrong channel. If the people are not, no, you aren't. That's the answer. That's the example. We have learned all of this last week. And then we also did some work. The first one, write the phrase use apostrophe s or s apostrophe. This one, the first one is for singular, and then the second one is for plural. This one is singular, one people, p plural, more than one. Number one, Harry and then pants. So the answer should be Harry's pants, because there's only one Harry. Harry is singular, so put the apostrophe and then s. Number two, my mom and dad photos. Okay, here there are two people. Number one, mom. Number two, dad. But we use the word and here. So when we write the answer, it become my mom and dad's photos, because here there's only one person after the word and. So if you have the word and, for example, Ali, Aina and Henry, then you put the S, apostrophe S, at the last person's name. You look at the last person, this one. If the last one is dead, then you just put the apostrophe S. But if the last one is many people, for example, the teacher and students with S, then the last one you put the apostrophe. Use this one for the students. You need to look at the last person before the object. Okay, so object here is photos. Okay, this is the object, this is the subject. Okay, then we have the teachers' names. So this one, the answer should be the teachers apostrophe names, because there's more than one. And then the last one, Eva. How many people? How many person? There's only one. So Eva's notebook. Okay, I hope you understand. Then let's go to another exercise from last week. We also did this one. Are you good at skating? We use are because the subject here is you. You are special. Why? Because you can be one or you can be many people. That's why we put are in the first for the verb to be. The second one, is your notebook? We use is because there's only one notebook. Is, he is, she is, it is. So in here, the notebook is it. It is. So that's why we use is. Number 3, are your mom and dad at work? Okay, because there are two people here. The first one is mom and then the second one is dad. That's why for number 3, we use are for the answer. For number 4, are we at home? Why do we use are? Because we are more than one. And then the last one is the teacher in the class. We use is because there's only one teacher. Okay, and then for number 5, I apologize. I just realized last week I forgot to write the word the over there. So it was my mistake. It's okay, you can correct it later. Okay, so for today's lesson, two things that we are going to do. The first one is we are going to learn some adjective. We have learned this in year 4 and maybe perhaps in year 3. And then we're also going to learn about adverb of degree. So what are these things? You will learn in today's lesson. Okay, so the first thing, look at these two objects. What are they? Yes, one is a bicycle and then the other one is a motorcycle. Okay, so when we use adjective, we use word to describe, to talk about the object. So there are two objects here. What is the difference? Number 1, big. What is big? The motorcycle is big. And then how about the bicycle? The bicycle is small. Do you remember in year 4 we learned about the animals and then the dinosaurs, all of that, the big, the cute, what else you can say, but that's for living thing. For this one we are learning about object, adjectives for object. And then fast. What is fast? The motorcycle is fast. Slow. The bicycle is slow. And then expensive. Why? Because the motorcycle, it costs you, at this kind of motorcycle, it's at least 10,000 ringgit. And then bicycles is cheaper. Bicycle is cheap. Why? You can buy it for like 100 ringgit. There's some bicycle not so good, but you can use there's around 50 ringgit. Not so good one. It's not the best one, but it's cheap. But some bicycle, they are expensive bicycle as well. Some bicycle can cost you like 10,000 ringgit as well, the big one, and the best one. And some better motorcycle, the best one for this kind, it can cost you up to 100,000 ringgit. Okay, so all these words in yellow and in green are called adjective. Okay, next one we are going to learn about vocabulary. Every time we learn, we will always have vocabulary, new vocabulary to learn. So these are your vocabulary for this week's video. Number 1, unpopular. In Malay, the meaning is tidak terkenal. In Mandarin, in Chinese, these are the meaning. Next one, we have bad, or in Malay, teruk, or in Mandarin, this one. And then we have horrible, or the meaning in Malay in yellow, and then the in black is the meaning in Chinese. And then we have new, or the meaning in Malay, baru, or this one. And then we have cheap, or in Malay murah. And then this is the word, the meaning in Mandarin. And then the last one we have boring, bosan, or this one. Okay, so you have learned the adjectives. Before we begin the next lesson, I want you to take a photo of what you have in your pocket. The first one, send me a photo you have of things you have in your pocket. It can be in your trousers pocket, or maybe clothes pockets, or yes, that kind of pocket, any pocket. The second one, send me what you have on your desk. And then the last one, inside your bag. So you need to send me 3 pictures. Send it to WhatsApp or Google Classroom or email. Send me what things you have now at the moment. Don't put anything. If there's nothing, just send nothing. But you need to take a picture of things in your pocket, on your desk, and inside your bag. It can be any bag, your handbag or school bag or any other bag. Okay, next what we're going to do is we are going to read and match the opposite meaning. Okay, so this one is starter unit, lesson 6 or 7, lesson 6. I forgot which page is it. You just check in your English plus 1 book. So let's read together. Okay, you may repeat after me. Number 1, send us your photos. What have you got in your pocket? I've got money, a pen, my ID card for school. That photo isn't very nice. And my mobile phone. It's old and slow now, and it hasn't got a good camera. I want a new mobile, but they are expensive. Paul. Okay, so this one, Paul, the boy here, he talks about he have a money, a pen, and ID card for school. ID card for school means like you're my kid, but the one you use in school, like the one you use for the library. But here they are okay. Your work here is to read and match the opposite meanings. So look at the blue color word. We have number 1, nice. Number 2, old. Number 3, slow. Number 4, good. And number 5, expensive. So your work, your second work, your first work just now is the 3 photos. This is your second exercise. Write in your EX number 1. For example, number 1, nice. What is the opposite meaning of nice? Number 2, old. What is the opposite of old? For example, old, the opposite meaning is new. Slow, what? Good, what? Expensive, what? Okay, so this is about Paul. Next, what have you got on your desk? I've got books, 1 or 2 old video games, and these mini speakers. They are small. First adjective here, small, but they are really good. And I've got a photo of my cousins in Australia. They have got a pet parrot. His name's Sinbad, and he's really popular with my cousins' friends. We haven't got a pet, Ben. Okay, so this boy is Ben. On his desk, he has got a book. He has got books, 1 or 2 old video games, and mini speakers. They are small, but they're really good. And then he has a photo of his cousin in Australia. His cousin have a pet parrot. The name of the parrot is Sinbad, and Sinbad is really popular with his cousin's friend. He doesn't have a pet. So here, your next adjective is small and popular. What is the opposite meaning? So this is number 6 and 7, if I'm not mistaken. Next, what have you got in your bag? I've got my books for school, my mobile, and I've got this presents for my dad. He hasn't got this book. It's about cooking, and it's very interesting if you like cooking. Maria. So this girl is Maria. She has got books for school in her bag. Mobile. Mobile means the mobile phone. Mobile phone is your smartphone. Why is it called mobile? Because you can bring it anywhere. That's the meaning of mobile. In some countries, they call the car as mobile just as well. Mobile. Because you can bring them anywhere. And then in her bag, in Maria's bag, she also got a present for her dad, a book about cooking. And then your adjective here, the last one, interesting. What is the opposite meaning of interesting? Okay, have you got the answer for the adjective? If you have got them, let's check the answer. There are 8 things here. Number 1, nice. What is the opposite adjective of nice? Horrible. If you have got any other answer, you may write it there and I will check it and tell you whether it's correct or not. Number 2, old. What is the opposite meaning of old? Opposite. New. Number 3, slow, fast. Good, bad. Expensive, cheap. Small, big. Popular, unpopular. Interesting, boring. Okay, so these are the 8 answers for 8 opposite meanings. Write it in your EX if you haven't got the answer. Next, read the text again and choose the correct answers. Number 1, has Paul mobile got a good camera? Has Paul's mobile got a good camera? A. Yes, it has. B. No, it hasn't. So I'm going to show you an example only for number 1. For number 2 and number 3, you're going to answer it by yourself. Okay, so for number 1, has Paul's mobile got a good camera? Look at the word hasn't and then got a good camera. So hasn't got, has not. If you have the word not, then the answer is no, it hasn't. Okay, that's why he want a new mobile, he want a new phone, but they are expensive, he said. Okay, so your third work for today, do this in EX, number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the second one we're going to learn today is adverbs of degree. So what are adverbs of degree? We have not very, quite, very, and really. So these are called adverbs of degree. So if I just show you like this one, you might not be able to understand it, right? It's okay. Look at the next one. Okay, so how strong? How do we use the adverb of degree? So we are going to use mobile phones as examples. Okay, so the first one is the all mobile phones. Not very expensive. It's not very expensive. So the first one, when we use the adverb of degree, we must use it before the adjective. So the adjective here is expensive. So how expensive it is? It's not very expensive. So not very is like the very low level. Not very means not too much. Next we have the BlackBerry. Quite expensive. Quite means okay lah, a bit expensive. That's the meaning. Next we have very expensive. Very means it's a lot expensive than the BlackBerry. And then the last one we have really expensive. Really means too expensive. That is the meaning. So we have not very expensive means it's cheap. Not very means you can afford to buy it. Quite expensive means a bit expensive, but you still have enough money to buy it. It's very expensive. If you say like that means it's more than what you can afford it. And then when you say really expensive means you need to collect, you need to save up money for a long time, and it's more than what you can afford. Really means you can buy it, but if it's broken then you cannot buy it again. You might not want to buy it again. Okay? Next one. Okay, let's look at sample sentences. Number 1. The name of the phone is Nokia San San Iling 3310. Nokia 3310 in English. So the first thing, you look here. Nokia 3310 is not very expensive. Okay, the second one, BlackBerry 10 is quite expensive. And then we have the next one. Vivo X is very expensive. And then the last one, iPhone 12 is really expensive. So that's how you differentiate between the adverb of degree. We have the not very, quite, very, and really. Okay, so your last exercise for today. I want you to write 8 sentences using the 4 adverbs of degree you have learned. The not really, not very, quite, very, and really. So look at this table. Okay, so you can write about TV program. You can use for TV program, you can use the adjective popular, boring, or good. Remember, adverb of degree comes before the adjective. So you can use word like not very popular, or really boring, or very good, or quite good. And then you can write about place in Malaysia or anywhere in the world. Big, horrible, old. So you can use the word to mention place, to make a sentence about place. The first one, TV program. This one, use popular, boring, or good. Then we have place. Use big, horrible, or old. Remember to use adverb of degree, so quite big, quite horrible, quite old, something like that. And then we have for person, you can talk about somebody, anyone. You can say name as well. This one, you can use the adverb, the adjective nice, popular, and interesting. So this one is for person. And the last one, for game or film, you can use the word expensive, fast, or new. Okay, so I want you to make 8 sentences. Use the 4 adverb of degree just now. Let me show you an example. TV program, place, person, and film. Okay, this is the adverb of degree you have learned. Not very. For example, here expensive, quite expensive, very expensive, or really expensive. Make 8 sentences. Okay, so the first example I'm going to give you. Running Man is not very popular in my school. So the adverb of degree here is not very, this one. And the adjective I'm using is popular, this one. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any question, you can ask anytime, but I will only answer it when I can, because I'm still in Sabah. Okay, so that's all for today. See you next week. Bye.